folks. Back at it again today. Finished up a day of work. Just going to start completing or refining this a little bit. Beautiful Monday evening. Just finished work. And I'm going to make a bit of pottery before I start dinner. So we started this piece yesterday or the day before. And now we're just refining it. So every day the clay firms up a little bit and you're able to work it a little more. Every time I come work in the garden, I'm reminded about how badly it needs to get weeded. I started weeding it a bit the other day, and then I promptly gave up. No, I'll do a little bit tonight. Try to tackle it 20 minutes at a time or so. Just about done with refining this one for today. Hey, folks, thanks for joining. Just refining a piece that I started the other day. And get started on a new one pretty soon here. It's called, if you don't know what this type of style of pottery is called, it's called Kurinuki Ray. It's carved. Like to use hand built, so it's not wheel thrown, and use a basic tools to carve out your piece. So set that one aside. Let's start it on a bigger one here. Okay. So I start all the pieces basically the same way. I get up to the top here, and I mark out where the foot's going to go. So mark out where the foot is going to go, and then I like to establish the foot before there's the first thing that I do to kind of ground the body. So you start taking off, carving off the foot. Been sitting inside in front of the computer all day, so I decided to come out and work in the garden. I should pay my kids to weed it or something like that. Okay. Kind of mark the foot, and then I go back for a second pass to kind of trim this down a little bit more. I have a banding wheel that I usually put this on too. I forgot outside. I'll probably go get it for the next one. Okay. And then you kind of mark out the inside of the foot ring. There we go. I just use the bottom of my knife and kind of scoop it out like so. And spend a surprising amount of time on these on the foot ring itself. That kind of sets up the piece. Yeah, I find it satisfying too. The thing I really love about Kurinuki or carving is it doesn't take a lot of equipment to do it. You just need a knife or a wooden knife and a couple trimming tools or a spoon or whatnot. Unlike having a wheel and all that stuff for the studio, it's nice just to be able to be kind of minimalist with this. All right, I got the foot established. I can come back in and I'm gonna mark out where I'm gonna take the interior, hollow it out for this little bowl. Okay. Yeah, this clay here I work a lot with wild clay. So this clay itself is from um I was down in San Clemente along the the coast here in California, and I found a deposit of clay while I was working. So I went out and collected a couple buckets of it, and I've been processing it home and then learning the clay. I still have about 25 pounds of it left. Um, I'll have to go back down there and see if I can find some more. But uh, so this is a wild clay from San Clemente. It's not commercial bought, and then I temper it with sand that I collect as well. So this is all like local sourced, I guess you could say. And then this fires like a terracotta red when you start it. I can bring out a couple pieces and show you what it looks like fired. Yeah, but I just started out with my YouTube channel. There's lots of shorts that are on there be making stuff. Um, I think I got like 100 or some odd shorts up there right now. And then there's some of the bigger builds. I've kind of switched from filming, doing this just on myself to live streaming it so I could talk while I'm doing it. And then I've really just started this in the last year. So there's some content up there, but there's not heaps yet. Building every day though. I appreciate that. Really do. So now we kind of go into here, hollow this out. I'm just using a bigger trimming tool. And I twist it down to get this out here. And then I take a measurement, see where that is there. Okay, so I can go a little bit further into here. So I got that there. Now I'm going to, I'll take just a wooden knife to smooth up the walls and kind of take the edges off the walls. And take this down here. So, and I usually, this is the first day I'm working with this. I usually take about 5 days to make one of these pieces. Today will be the kind of the rough process of it, and then I'll come back and refine as the clay firms up more over the next 5 days or so, and then let it dry out for a week or two before I bisque fire it. Sure, you can be my friend too. All right. Next step after I've got this established, I got the hollowed out inside here on this side here, and then I start reducing the body down. I start carving off chunks of it down, give it a faceted look, kind of come across like that. Hmm. Do I have trouble getting the clay? No. I just kind of wear a safety vest, make it look official. Just walk around with a bucket. So I haven't had any trouble yet. I collected all over the place. I got clays from about a half dozen places in my studio. This is just the one that I've been working with a lot recently. Usually after it rains, I go out to the desert to go find places where there's like a deposits and stuff like that. Found some good ones in the Mojave River, and the Amargosa Rivers, some good spots too. Yeah. I like to go exploring out in the desert and go look for things off the beaten track. Go pick up materials for making stuff and clays and cactus and different minerals for glazes. Yeah, thanks. So you take a look at this. So you can see it coming here. So I take a feel, see how thick it is. Now, I don't want to trim too much off the exterior all the time because then it just makes the bowl small. So you want to start carving on the inside too. But at this point here, I like to reduce the rim a little bit to kind of get it, just take this back a little bit, but not too much because you crack the rim. Kind of, Mm. It's starting to come along. It has one right now. Just you, I think. Yeah, it's a dull wooden knife. You can see it there. So and toolkit's remarkably simple for this type of work. Just a wooden knife and a couple trimming tools. I think you could probably hear my dog in the background barking at my neighbor right now. Well, the sun is just going behind the mountain right now. So 6 now. All right. Okay. This is getting close to where I'm going to leave it for the day. But one of the last things I do here is I like to make sure that the edge gets, or the rim gets really compressed. So I usually just paddle it. This kind of compresses the clay and will prevent the rim from cracking. And then I hand form it a little bit to get the rim in a nice shape. Because eventually I want to be able to drink some tea or coffee out of this cup, or somebody will. The sun's behind the mountain now. There's no sun left. Let's come out tomorrow. All right. That was the first piece for tonight. This one came out pretty good so far. I'll set this aside for today. Tomorrow I'll come back and rework it and refine it some more. The clay will firm up and it'll have a little bit more strength. You can make the walls a little thinner and it won't crack. So start looking. This is like the second. This one is from the second day right here. And this one will get thinned up tomorrow. I'll set these aside here. Uh, so I'm gonna do another one right now. Pretty much go live every night, usually between uh, right after work or at about 8 o'clock. When I if I'm doing this and if I'm doing this type of work and filming it, I will do it while there's still good light outside, and then um, if I'm on my wheel, it'll be at 8 o'clock at night, and I'll be down in my studio, and that's usually at 8, and I'll stay on for like an hour or so. All right. Okay. This clay is a this is a some reclaimed buff clay that I have. I was using this for a while. This is just recycled clay now. So I want to do some experiments with, and it's a cone five. I want to do some experiments with some cone five glazes with this stuff. And this clay, this wild clay, it only really reliably fires to cone oh 06. So it's low fire. Um, but so I want to try some mid fire glazes out. So I got some of this reclaimed clay. I'm going to do the same type of work with, and I'm going to make a few pieces of it here. So I'll get back started with the same process. Same idea as before. This is going to be a little cup, probably like a 4-ounce cup or so. Mm, fucker. Take care. Thanks for joining. And just continue working, establishing this foot and the foot ring. Into the first things that I do, starting a new piece. I have a hummingbird 5 feet from me. All right. And then here, I'll mark out where I'm going to carve out of the body. I'm going to take a larger trimming tool. My dogs are upset about something. I don't see anybody though. Okay. Get closer to the bottom of this. Okay. From here, I like to take a measurement, see how far we are. Just put that there and then compare it on the wall. So yeah, we're pretty close, pretty far down. So I'm gonna go back in and I clean up the interior with a knife, scrape down the walls. Okay. There, I flip this back over and I start carving the body. So I take nice big chunks off. And then I flip it back over with a step. I like to refine the rim. Start taking a bit off here. Like so. Now I got it in my hand. I will refine some of this where I can feel the thickness. Alright. Now that I got it here, I like to come in and I paddle the rim. Oh, this is pretty thick right here. Paddle the rim so that I can get it compressed and it cracks less. I'll do the same to the inside of it. Okay. Just hand form it a little bit. I don't want that on. All right. And this is where we're going to leave off for today. So today we rough formed this cup on some buff cone 5 reclaim, and we created this on a wild clay from San Clemente, a bigger cup. This is day 1 on this one as well. And then this is the second day on this, also San Clemente wild clay, all done Kurinuki style, hand carved. So uh, thanks for everybody for joining. I'll be back on again tomorrow or maybe later tonight in the studio. So if you got any questions, please let me know. And if not, I'm going to sign off. All right, everybody. Take care. Have a good night.